Imagine a world roaring with optimism. It's the 1920s, cities pulse with jazz, Model Ts rattle down new highways, and everyone, it seems, is getting rich. The American dream has never felt so real. Radios crackle in every living room, flappers dance until dawn, and skyscrapers reach for the clouds. But beneath the glitter, a storm is brewing. A storm that will sweep across continents, topple empires, and scar generations. This is the anatomy of the Great Depression, the most devastating economic collapse in modern history. After the guns fell silent in 1918, America is reborn. Soldiers return, women flood the workforce, and factories hum with innovation. Henry Ford's assembly line churns out Model Ts, making cars as common as shoes. Radios, washing machines, and refrigerators, once luxuries, become household staples. Advertising seduces a nation, and banks dangle easy credit like candy. Why wait? Take it home today, pay later. Americans buy now, worry later. The stock market? It's a rocket. From 1921 to 1929, it soars sixfold. Everyone's in, factory workers, teachers, even shoeshine boys. Why not? All you need is a little cash and a lot of nerve. Banks happily lend the rest. But every party has a price. By the mid-1920s, the world outside America stumbles. Europe, battered by war, can't buy American goods. Factories slow, farmers struggle, but Wall Street doesn't care. The party rages on, fueled by borrowed money and blind faith. President Hoover, beaming with confidence, insists, the fundamental business of the country is on a sound and prosperous basis. But behind the scenes, 40% of all consumer debt is now tied up in stocks. The market is a house of cards and the wind is rising. October 24th, 1929, Black Thursday. Panic erupts, stocks plunge, phones ring off the hook. By the end of the day, fortunes evaporate, but it's only the beginning. Within 2 weeks, the market loses a third of its value. The party is over. The hangover is just beginning. Margin calls flood in. Brokers demand repayment, but the money isn't there. Banks, many small and unregulated, have gambled depositors' savings on the market. As stocks collapse, so do the banks. There's no deposit insurance. When a bank fails, your money is gone. Bank runs sweep the nation. Even healthy banks fall as panic spreads. 1/3 of all U.S. banks vanish. 9 million savings accounts wiped out. People hoard cash. The money supply shrinks by 31%. Deflation sinks in. Prices fall. Debts grow heavier. Jobs disappear. Factories shut down. Farms and homes are lost to foreclosure mills, and mines are abandoned, and people go hungry. The resulting lower incomes mean further inability to spend or save, perpetuating the economic slowdown in a seemingly never-ending cycle. Unemployment hits 24.9%, the Dow Jones plunges 90%, families lose homes, Hoovervilles rise from the dust, grim cities of the forgotten, named for a president blamed for doing too little too late. In the heartland, nature turns cruel. The Dust Bowl, an ecological disaster, sweeps across the plains. Crops wither, livestock die, a third of the population flees, carrying everything they own in battered trucks. The choking dust storms, failed crops, and displaced families deepen the national despair. The economic dominoes keep falling. With farms producing no crops, trucks have no grain to haul, mills have no wheat to grind, and farm equipment companies have no customers. The downturn spreads through the entire economy, accelerating the downward spiral. Desperate to save American jobs, Congress passes the Smoot-Hawley tariff, raising import taxes by 20%. The world retaliates. Global trade collapses by 2/3. The depression becomes a global contagion. Factories shutter in Berlin, London, Tokyo. International lending dries up, and the gold standard meant to stabilize currencies transmits the crisis worldwide. Standards of living plummet across continents. Unemployment rates soar to 25% in industrialized countries. The crisis is no longer American, it is global. On the streets, the pain is raw, and personal. Children go hungry, families split apart in search of work, some ride the rails drifting from town to town, hoping for a meal or a day's labor. Soup kitchens and bread lines stretch for blocks. Proud parents swallow their pride to accept welfare or government aid for the first time in their lives. In the cities, tent encampments, Hoovervilles, grow. In the countryside, dust storms blacken the sky and hope feels as distant as rain. The government response is slow, uncertain. President Hoover clings to optimism, but his policies fail to stem the tide. The Bonus Army, World War I veterans demanding early payment of promised bonuses, marches on Washington. They are met with tear gas and tanks. The nation watches in horror as the government turns on its own. 1932. The nation is on its knees. Enter Franklin D. Roosevelt, a new voice, a new hope. His New Deal unleashes a torrent of reforms: minimum wage, Social Security, unemployment insurance, and federal deposit insurance to stop the bank runs. The Securities and Exchange Commission polices Wall Street. The banking sector stabilizes. Confidence flickers back. New Deal programs put millions to work building roads, dams, and schools. Farmers get help to save their land. The Soil Conservation Service teaches new ways to protect the earth. But recovery is slow, fragile, the scars run deep. By the late 1930s, the worst of the Dust Bowl has passed, thanks to improved farming practices and better rainfall. But the lessons linger. Environmental stewardship and sustainable agriculture are now recognized as crucial safeguards against future disasters. 1939, the world plunges into war, factories shift from idle to overdrive, unemployment vanishes overnight. The Great Depression ends not with a whimper, but with the thunder of war machines. The mobilization for World War II pulls the economy out of its long slump, but the trauma of the Depression leaves a mark on the American psyche and on the world. The legacy of the Great Depression shapes our world. We learn, painfully, the need for stable inflation, for government action in crisis, for strong financial regulation. We remember the price of unchecked greed and blind speculation. In the end, it was greed that drove people to believe that there was no price too high for a stock, and made many banks take on bad loans, and just like all bubbles, an overinflated market always sees the same ending: a painful crash. We live in a new age, digital, global, faster than ever. But the forces that fueled the Great Depression still lurk: greed, speculation, overconfidence. Could it happen again? The answer remains unwritten. The next chapter is ours. This was the anatomy of the Great Depression, a story of dreams and disaster, of human folly and resilience. Remember it, because history, like the market, has a way of repeating itself.